Hello and welcome. I wanted to show you a little bit of the rehab that we're doing with Missy these days. And she has a history of being pretty herd-bound. I know, kind of buddy sour. And she's been very tense also, and connecting with her and earning her trust has been our primary focus, and letting her be able to release tensions and move in a more biomechanically correct style or form. One of the things that's been happening lately, especially on the right side here, Missy's pretty sore and tight. And I don't know, did you just see how, yes, that sigh that she gave, wrinkling her nostril. And oftentimes when I'm combing her, if I go over, I'm not going to do it now, but if I go over the area, she will flinch somewhat. And Missy has also, at times, she's been not able to stand still to be saddled, and also not comfortable when you get this close to her. She often will take security from coming in really close to a person, oftentimes no personal space, and banging into you. But it's not comfortable when we take, if you can see like that, how she moved away, when the human energy gets that close. And this has also translated down into the headgear that she wears. And sometimes she will have strong opinions and move away from whatever is on her face, especially if you're using a rein. Oftentimes you can start to pick it up and she will move away from it. And although I think some of that's about the rein and what's going on here with her face, it's also what's going on back here. And as you can, when I put my hand there, she kind of starts to blink and release. And I didn't recognize how, what was actually going on in the muscles of her back until I started to get on her. Because some of the things from the ground, they looked like they were heading in a good direction. But then when I got on her back, and I could feel that instead of her back kind of feeling like it was coming up under my seat, especially when she would get anxious about something, I'll just use those terms, when she would, start to lose a little of her sense of security, this kind of felt like it gets an angle like this, and her back really goes like this. So it feels like you're kind of sitting in between two really hard cement blocks. Just not very comfortable for a rider, and I can't imagine it's very comfortable for her either. And so as you can see, we've gotten her so that in general, because sometimes there's always days where things slip a little bit, but in general she is much better about being saddled. And what I really, really like to see is this be a non-issue. And instead of, when she was having a hard time standing still to be saddled, instead of just making her stand still, I would create a place where I could help her be more comfortable with the saddling. And also, there are times too, like if she had started to move, I might have asked her, can you just stay here a minute? Because Missy is a horse that I had to change my own language a little bit, because she has such a strong pattern, like a neural rut. Her pathways are deeply ingrained. And in order to get her to be in a different mental and physical state, I need sometimes, like physical therapy almost, at least how I imagine it, to help her Okay, try moving this way, or try settling here. Kind of like holding her hand rather than just letting her figure it out on her own. And it's similar, you know, my background as a phys ed teacher. When you're teaching gymnastics, quite often you will offer the gymnast a spot, especially, you know, when they're going backwards, in a thing that can be very unnerving. So you put your hands in a place to help them be able to feel what they should and to be able to support their body as they're learning this new movement. So when I changed how I interact with Missy and thought of it more as spotting rather than micromanaging, it helped me understand it a little bit more, and I think describe it a little more accurately. So I am going to get on her and show you what our rehab from on her back has been looking like, because that spot, especially on that right side of her back, I think she's starting to work out. And it's been looking a lot like we're doing nothing and she's not listening. And so for those of us that recognize something is really going on there, I wanted to just show you a little bit about what Missy is teaching me these days, especially if it could help validate some of the intuition that you might be having working with your own horses about what they need and what steps you want to take. So we will put this on you, and she is getting, yes, much better about standing still for all of this. I know. Whoops, that strap we were going to cut off too. We'll have to change that a little bit. I'm going to put my helmet on too. So what I'm going to do with Missy is bring her over to the mounting block, because yesterday when I got on her, she found it very difficult to move when she was holding her body in a place where I could really feel her back soften. It was like things weren't coming together enough that she could move. She also, being when she gets a little bit insecure or in a place that's unfamiliar, because that's basically what insecurity is, she tries to go towards, you know, where her friends are, where home is. And so what I'm going to do is take her over. Yesterday I had the mounting block here and I just got on because it was a little too much for her to be away from her friend. So I moved the mounting block over a little bit to see if I could help set it up so that she could move a little bit in the state where her back was a little more relaxed without it becoming something that could end up in an argument between the two of us. No, go this way, no, go this way, rather than just saying, okay, let me sit on you, see how your back feels, help you soften, and then if she feels uncomfortable, she can move toward her friend, but hopefully still moved in the relaxed state. So we'll go see if this works. You ready? Girl. And actually, let me see, turning to the right is harder, so I'm going to face her the other way. Well, that still might not work, but let me just get on and see what happens. Good girl. So she's licking and chewing. You can come over here if you want. That would be nice. Thank you to my beautiful daughter running the camera. All right, so I'm going to get on. Yes, and before, oftentimes when you would get on her, she would immediately go walking off, which I don't think is always a bad thing, but I think it was a sign that she wasn't balanced, either physically or mentally. And so right now, as I'm on her, and you can even see, she is actually bent to the left. And so part of what I am going to try to help her do, oh, thank you, miss, is bend to the right. And yesterday she couldn't do that, so that's pretty cool. And when she lowers her head like that, I can feel her back soften somewhat. And then I think she's starting to blink her eyes and look a little bit like she's thinking. Lex? Okay, thank you. So when she gets like that, I allow more of that to happen because, yes, and there's the lick and chew, so that she can integrate. And just before she did the lick and chew, she had taken her bend, the angle of her body back to the left. So now I'm trying to see, I'm asking her with my seat and my legs just to even out. Yes, good girl. Because right now there's an unevenness, it feels, in the muscling or the body that she has on either side of her spine. So I'm trying, there's like a kind of a bulge right here under this leg and not so much here. So I'm asking her to even out somewhat. And she is. Good girl. And her back is feeling, for her, it's feeling big, which before it felt small and tight, and it's starting to feel like it's getting a little bit bigger. So I'm going to ask her to move. And today she can. And she's stretching, but she pulled herself a little off balance, and she's following you. Good girl. Yeah. And it feels a little like she's staggering. This isn't quite familiar. And when she did, she got a little tighter in her back, right under. Okay. And, all right. So now she's really contorted to the left. I wouldn't even really call it a bend because it's kind of uneven and twisted. So I'm kind of asking her, by how I distribute my weight, good girl, I don't know if you could hear her sigh, to be a little straighter. Good girl. Yep, and she's moving the muscles in her back a little. And I am going to ask her to just tip her nose. Now I can see her right eyelashes, but she's still got a huge of her back against my. Good girl. And so as she's stretching, I can feel a little bit of that muscle soften, shaking her. Then I can see her left eyelash and right. Okay, I would like to be able to see the right. Thanks, Lex. Yes. All right, and she's a little softer under my seat. So we're going to continue on with this, but I'm going to stop the video right now. Thank you for watching, and we will update you soon on the adventures with Missy. Bye for now.